they embrace tax planning as a core competency.
Okay.
And B, they create a family office environment.
Ah, yes.
Now, if you're a wealthy individual
Yep.
and you have a $50 million portfolio or greater at Goldman Sachs, then the chances are you have a family office.
Sure.
But if you're Dr. Jones and you make $1 to $5 million a year,
you're not there.
you do not have a family office.
Correct.
And you have 2 or 3 financial advisors competing for your business.
Correct.
You have an insurance guy that you don't want to talk to.
Yes.
And you have Murray, your hypothetical CPA, who's afraid to do so. And your financial advisor doesn't speak to your CPA because they're considered adversarial.
Correct.
So what I set out to do was, since the top advisors in the country are comfortable in the family office environment and in the tax planning side, I wrote a business plan and set out as a growth plan for my broker-dealer to teach my advisors how to embrace tax planning as part of a financial plan. And in addition, by integrating the CPA into the purchase decision, into the investment decision, you're now creating what I'll call a de facto family office. Right? Because after all, everyone has the same responsibility to support
It's almost
that
like a
client.
share office kind of idea, right?
Pretty much.
Right, like co-working space. But it's in financial planning.
Correct.
Right? Very innovative. Yeah, I could see that.
So that's what I set out to do. And then I looked at the platform of investment programs, and there wasn't any investment programs that had a tax component to it. The only ones were oil and gas programs. And the challenge with oil and gas programs is they're not mainstream.
Yeah.
The IDCs, the intangible drilling costs that are available to the investors in a drilling program are only available if you're a general partner.
Right.
So when you come into a program like that, the IDCs are worth approximately 60 to 80% of your investment dollars, but you also are taking on general partner liability.
Got it.
Which means environmental litigation. There's an abundance, so it's not a mainstream investment program. On the other side, there really wasn't anything else. So if you look at investment products, period, any investment across the board, the returns from an investment program only come in 3 forms. They come as income, meaning distribution, growth, meaning hold for appreciation or have an exit, or tax.
Yes.
There are many tax incentives in certain structures or tax efficient structures.
Right.
Look at a 1031.
Yes.
Look at a tax deferred, bond programs that kick the taxes down the road. So those are the only 3 strategies for income, for investment returns: income, growth, or tax. What I set out to do, since I couldn't find one available in the commercial market, was to create one. So if I look at my personal experience, I understood land development because I was very good at it.
Yes.
I understood structured development, building homes and multifamily, single family, multifamily.
Correct.
I also understood conservation because I inherited that obligation to donate 1,200 acres.
So you had to figure it out. Yeah.
I had to figure it out. So in creating the product that ultimately became Ecovest, it was really a compilation of my own personal experience. I'm not interested nor have the proclivity to read the IRS tax code and figure out something that has a tax benefit. If I didn't have that personal experience, then I would not have been able to incorporate it into this.
Today. So it's interesting because it seems like then everything you've done in the past, even the mistakes you got fired,
that is correct.
It feels like, at least that's how I see it, everything leading to Ecovest today.
Correct. Everything
every
happened.
mistake,
that's right.
Everything that, because of the next, you learn a little bit about the industry, you learn a little bit about the industry, you learn how this business model works,
that is
and
correct.
And boom, you put it together.
Absolutely.
I felt the same way because everything I've done where I felt like all the mistakes, all the failures, of the skills I've developed, but it felt like when I found the right business, that this is home, this is where it's meant to be.
It all came together.
Everything, it's almost like everything leading up to this.
Sure.
That this particular business requires all the skill sets you've accumulated in the past, right?
That's correct.
So Alan, what advice would you have for entrepreneur?
Ooh, that's a great question. So you have to really ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing.
Why you're in business?
I recently taught a class at the university where I went to school, and it was the night Steve Jobs died. So the next morning I gave up my whole syllabus, and I asked the question to the audience, to all the students, since Steve Jobs was so meaningful in their lifetimes. And I asked him, was he a great man? And they all said yes. And what made him a great man? And they said that he had a great idea. So I asked the audience, I asked the students, how many of you today have a great idea? Raise your hand. And they all raised their hands.
Every one of them have a good idea. Yeah.
I said, I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
What made Steve Jobs successful was not that he had a great idea, that he had the perseverance and the willingness to attack this, no matter how many obstacles were put in front of him, no matter how hard it was to continue to fight to win, until he eventually solved his issues and became, and created Apple to the company that it was today. I asked the question of these millennials, how many of you are willing to put that type of work into this great idea? Every one of the hands went down.
Wow.
So the biggest advice that I could give to an entrepreneur today is to be passionate about what it is that you're looking to do, and be willing to put the time, the energy, the resources, the capital behind the idea in order to see it through. And they have to finish.